The mirror and the mask. Have you ever looked in the mirror and realized that the person staring at you isn't actually you? Have you ever caught yourself shaping your opinions to match the room you are in, changing your laughter, hiding your flaws, and molding your entire identity into something others will applaud? We live in a world that constantly hands us scorecards. From the moment we are young, we are conditioned to chase the sweet, addictive rush of approval. Good job! You look amazing. We love having you around. But have you ever counted the invisible scars left behind by that endless chase? Today, on Tales by Hasiba, we are going to explore a profound story about the hidden price of seeking validation from others and why true peace only begins when you stop performing. Part 1. The Chameleon's Trap. Living for validation is like wearing a heavy costume that never quite fits. You become a social chameleon. When you are with the ambitious, you talk about hustle. When you are with the critics, you stay quiet. When you are with people who demand perfection, you pretend you never bleed, never fail, and never hurt. It feels harmless at first. After all, fitting in feels safe. Approval feels like warmth on a freezing day. But with every mask you put on, a piece of your authentic self starves in the dark. You build your entire sense of worth on a foundation of sand, on opinions that shift like the wind. If they clap, you feel alive. But the moment they frown, the moment they walk away, or the moment your post doesn't get enough likes, your entire world collapses. You start bleeding from wounds nobody can see. Part 2. The Sculptor of Glass. In an old coastal village, there lived a master glassmaker named Julian. Julian's work was legendary because he could carve glass into whatever people desired. If the villagers wanted a fierce dragon, he carved a dragon. If they wanted a soft dove, he shaped a dove. He spent every waking hour listening to their desires, molding his glass to earn their applause. Whenever the village praised him, Julian smiled proudly and put another sculpture on his shelf. But working with glass is unforgiving. To please everyone, Julian had to make his glass thinner, sharper, and more fragile. One stormy night, a traveler entered Julian's shop. The traveler picked up one of Julian's most prized sculptures, a breathtaking masterpiece molded entirely to fit what the village loved. The traveler pressed it gently, looked at Julian, and asked, "It is beautiful, master, but tell me, where is your own fingerprint on this glass? If you melt this down, is there anything left of you?" Julian froze. He looked at his workshop shelves, filled with thousands of pieces designed for everyone else, and for the first time in his life, he realized his hands were bleeding from 100 tiny, invisible cuts. He had spent his whole life shaping glass for others, while his own hands bled in silence. Part 3. The Courage to Stand Bare. Those words shattered the illusion for Julian. He realized that seeking validation from the crowd is a trap that asks you to break your own soul into pieces just to fit someone else's shelf. The next day, when the villagers came asking for custom shapes to match their expectations, Julian stopped. He looked them in the eye and said, "I am no longer taking orders." The villagers were angry. They muttered, they criticized, and eventually they walked away. The shop grew quiet. The applause stopped. At first, the silence was deafening, but then Julian picked up a solid, unpolished block of raw stone instead of fragile glass. For the first time in his life, he began to carve what he felt, what he believed in, and what came from the depths of his own truth. It wasn't fragile anymore. It was heavy, authentic, and undeniably his. When you stop performing for an audience, you lose the applause, but you finally find yourself. Your worth is not for sale. My friends, stop bleeding for an audience that will never be satisfied. Stop trading your peace for temporary applause. The invisible scars you carry from trying to please everyone are real, but they can heal. You do not need anyone's permission to be who you truly are. Your worth was never up for debate, and it was never for sale. If this story touched your heart today, hit that subscribe button, share this video with someone who needs to hear it, and join us for more soulful tales. This is Tales by Hasiba. Drop the mask, heal your invisible scars, and live your truth. Take care, and see you in the next story.